That was hilarious. You mean you transformed right in front of it and it just ignored you? The bird-like Tellurian asked. The Garanli, a 3-foot-tall quadruped that resembles something along the lines of a cross between a mushroom and a shrub, replied, Yeah, it was great. I mean, that's normal in our homeworld. It's how we avoid predators. But honestly, I wasn't sure how well it would work in a different world. It appears it thought I was a plant or something. I'm not sure, but it looked aggravated. Just kicked the ground and snorted a few times and left.
I suppose it's a good thing it wasn't a herbivore.
The 8-foot-tall biped, ball-like Chromatos spoke up. Yeah, I guess. How do your people fend off predators anyway? I don't see any camouflage mechanism on you.
Oh, that's simple. We do this and scare them off, the Chromatos replied,
puffing out a thin organ from his neck. It inflated with air, growing quite large and forming a pattern that appeared to be 3 large eyes and sharp teeth. They were fake, of course, but a non-sapient predator may fall for the disguise. Even the sapient creatures around the table shivered slightly at the sight, all but the human, at least. Who spoke up next? Interesting. We have creatures back on Earth that do something similar. It's a species of snake. I think there are some fish that do it too.
Interesting. I've heard a lot about Earth, but honestly I'm too afraid to go. I don't know how many of the rumors are true, but if even 1/10 of them are, then I prefer to stay away.
Probably a good idea, the Tellurian responded. It's not a very nice place.
You've been? Asked the Gurenli.
Yeah, just once. It's not as wild as they make it out to be. The humans obtained most of it, but even so, it's not very nice to aliens.
Good to know. Speaking of which, what is your defense against predators? I hear that the predators on your homeworld are quite fierce.
Yes, they are, but we evolved flight to avoid them. It's a very useful skill. We can't perfectly mimic plant-like your species does, but honestly, I think I prefer our method.
I agree. Flight would be better, but that doesn't work in high grav worlds, right?
No, it does, if the atmosphere is thick enough. Unfortunately, it does take more energy on them. We can't maintain flight on those very long. I suppose that's where your camouflage would come in more handy.
Yeah, it works as long as there is something resembling plant-like in the area for us to mimic. Speaking of which, Gorg, you've been silent this whole time. What's your species' defense mechanism?
The creature that appeared to be a mix between a reptile and a centipede spoke up in reply.
Yes. Our species spits a corrosive acid from our gullet. It's an effective deterrent.
That's interesting. What about you, John Gick?
The thing resembling a mix between a gopher, a porcupine, and an ant replied,
Our species evolved a sort of semi-hive mind. We are able to communicate simple thoughts almost telepathically. When one of us encounters a predator, we are easily able to notify all others within a certain radius. We lose one, but the hive survives.
Interesting. John, what about you? Earth is a dangerous place. Surely humans must have some defense mechanisms, right?
Probably several, the Chromatos added.
Oh, ours isn't that interesting. Come now, share with the group. Everyone else is bearing their defenses into the open. You should do so as well.
With a slight blush, John replied, Well, we just kill them, I guess. The small group stared at him, eyes open, feelers stiff, filtration organs primed.
You... what?
Well, humans have a tendency and aren't called an apex predator for nothing, after all. Any predator in our evolutionary past that seriously competed or threatened us were kind of hunted to extinction, to the point that those that remain have either been tamed and turned into pets, or have evolved an instinctual fear of us. The group went silent at that remark, the leafy appendages on the Gurenli turning a shade of dark red to match the colour of the leaves of the salad on the plate in front of him.